Hey everybody, my name is StevieWunderKid and welcome to Rate My Ride number 2. I'm super excited to make this video because we've gotten a lot of awesome submissions since the first video, and if you guys want to check that out, it'll be linked in the card in the top right hand corner of the screen right now. And before I get started with this week's submissions, I do want to let you guys know that anyone can make submissions to be in these videos, and all you have to do is join my Discord server down below. And once you've joined that, all you need to do is read through the rules in the Rules and Rolls channel within the Rate My Ride category, and you'll see that on the left hand side of the screen. And then when you've done that, you can click the green check mark just to let me know that you've read the rules, and then you'll be given the role of Rate My Ride participant, so then you can make your submissions in the submissions channel. So that's how you guys can be a part of this series. I'm accepting any submissions as long as it's GTA 5. I might expand that in the future, but for now it is any car build that you guys want to submit. In future episodes I might decide to theme these and do like themes for each week as well. I'm not sure yet, but as of now anybody can make a submission, and that's all you need to do. And also for everybody who's already been featured in the series, or for anybody who's new to the series and wants to make a submission, keep in mind that I'm only going to be featuring 10 submissions per video to keep the video from running way too long. Now that doesn't mean that I'm going to be skipping anybody's submission though. Your submission is always going to be featured in one of these videos. It just depends on when you make it. So with that out of the way, let's get into the submissions. Alright, first off we have Roderickmoose's Declasse Tulip, and he says that he uses his Tulip for daily driving and filmmaking, and I think it's awesome that he puts it to good use, and I'm happy to see another filmmaker on GTA 5. Now about his build, I really like the color scheme because there's a nice contrast between the faded yellow and the black stripe in the livery on the rear of the car. I think the faded yellow definitely fits in with the era that the Tulip comes from, and it's not too loud or flashy. I also like how he continued that black color scheme with the center portion of the wheels. I think that meshes pretty well with the livery that he chose as well. I think there's a really nice blend between both chrome and painted pieces, and I think it's actually nice that he chose to paint the bumpers. The only thing that I'm not a huge fan of on this build is the exhaust, and I like that it's angled outwards in that OEM style, but I think that the tips themselves stick out a little bit too far. I actually can't fault him for that because that's just the way Rockstar designed this exhaust, but I think that maybe the standard exhausts that are flush with the rear bumper might look slightly better in my opinion. That's really the only super minor thing I noticed, but other than that I really love this build, the color scheme and the livery that he chose, and he has some great pictures too, so I definitely approve of this build. Alright, next up we have Plvqrs. I don't know how to say it. I always seem to get this wrong, I don't know why, but whatever. This is his Dink and Jester Classic, and he says he made this build to show off his love and taste in cars, and also to express his love for the Mark IV Supra, and I can't blame him for that because the Mark IV is an amazing car. Now his Jester Classic looks to be more of an aggressive street and stance build. He's got a light blue paint job with white wheels, which I'm a fan of course. You guys probably know already that I'm a sucker for white wheels because I think they're kind of like white shoes, and they contrast well with most, if not all, colors you choose to put on for your primary color. I think that this build in specific is very simple and clean. He has the aggressive bumper with the exposed intercooler, the skirts, and the rear bumper spats, as well as the single exit exhausts, and she do be pretty bad though. Nah, but seriously, the only things I would change on this build in specific is the spoiler. I think the body of this car has a lot of curves and it's pretty smooth, but the lip spoiler that he has on there is a bit more angular and kind of messes with the smoothness of the rear bumper and the rear end of the car in general. So maybe leaving the spoiler stock or considering adding a bigger spoiler might be the move there. In addition, I know there is a livery on the Jester Classic that adds a white stripe at the bottom of the doors, and I think that might look awesome with the white wheels that he chose. But still though, I think this is a super clean build, and thank you for the submission, man. Alright, next up we have Zero's Prosian GP1, and he says he had it for a while but decided to change it up because he thought his original build was riced out, and it's pretty hard to see in the picture he submitted, but from what I can see it still looks pretty clean. I like that he stuck with the OEM style orange that was present on a lot of the McLaren F1s in real life. I also like the white on chrome wheels, and the build itself is nice and basic, but maybe adding a little bit more to the exterior might help set it off and might give it more of that true supercar style. This car in particular has a ton of customization options that maybe you could consider adding, like spoilers, skirts, things on the bumpers as well. It is pretty simple, but maybe adding a little bit more to it might set it off and give it a really cool look. But other than that, I really enjoy the build, and thank you for the submission. Alright, next up we have Vuiea's. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but this is his Karin Sultan RS. He says he wanted to make this build more of a clean street build that wasn't too over the top, but had a nice amount of power, and I say that he nailed the look that he was going for. I love that it's simple on the outside, but still has the mods to show that it's a serious car, from the roll cage to the racing seats to the simple exterior with the blue paint job and other exterior additions like the spoiler and the windshield banner. I also love the choice of wheels as well. I think these wheels in specific fit on pretty much any car. I'm not sure what they're called, but I know they're in the street category, and I think they look great on pretty much any build. And I know it sucks that these wheels in specific aren't available in chrome, but maybe trying out another color for the face of the wheel to contrast better with the chrome lip of the wheels and the color of the rest of the car might help. So maybe considering doing the face of the wheels in white, black, or gold instead of just the normal alloy. That's really the only thing that I'd change. But other than that, I think this is a super clean build. I love the color that he went for, and obviously simplicity is key, me, so I definitely approve of this Sultan RS build. Alright, next up we have my man Forzone's Grotti Vuiea. He says that this is his 2020 Grotti Vuiea with the Stradale spec, and he says he uses this as his daily driver. Now, I don't know much about the Vuiea. I actually haven't ever driven one, nor do I own one, but I will say that this is a beautiful car, and I do like the contrast between the primary color and the black as the secondary color on the roof. I think it looks very stealthy and mean, especially with the light strip across the front bumper as well. Now, I can't tell if the primary color is a bright blue or a white because the lighting in the picture is a bit dark, but I do love the aesthetic that he went for, and the spec is super clean, and it looks very similar to his real-life counterpart, the Pininfarina Battista. I think it's a super realistic and clean build, and I definitely approve of it. Alright, next up we have Volti's Pfister Comet SR. Now, he says that this build is inspired by his dream car, the Porsche GT2 RS. Now, he's got a lot of different color tints in each of these pictures, however, I still think they all convey this build pretty well. I love the look of the Porsche GT2s and GT3s, and I think it's awesome that Volti took the time to recreate the car in GTA. Now, all the modifications are pretty spot on to the real-life GT2 RS, except for the wheels. Now, this could be something he chose because he really liked the look of them, but I'm not sure. And while I like that he went for more of a bronze shade, at least in the pictures that he's shown, the shade of bronze that he chose on the wheels seems a little bit too dark, almost to the point of it being this sort of rusty brown color, and I'm not quite sure I like the look of that. And maybe for the sake of accuracy and to fit better with the rest of the color scheme on the car, it might be worth trying out on the wheels a darker shade of either gold or gray. But other than that though, I really like his replica, and I definitely need to get my hands on a Comet SR sometime soon too, so thank you for the inspiration, man. Really cool build. Alright, next up we have Crazy77's Vapid Hustler, and he says that he uses his Hustler mainly for cruising and taking to car meets to show off, and he says that his Hustler has a custom Bayshore blue paint job with the pinstripe livery, combined with chrome trim and classic rod rims. And I absolutely love this build because of the styling he went with. With a car like the Hustler being styled after an older vehicle, you could either leave it near stock to keep it like with the times, or you could do some crazy hot rod style mods to it. Those are kind of the two extremes, and Crazy's Hustler is somewhere in the middle of those. It's clean enough that he's able to preserve that retro look, but it has the right amount of personality with the color and the pinstripe livery, which I think looks awesome on this build. Normally, I don't think pinstripes would fit well in a car like this, but in this case, they actually fit super well, so I like that. I also haven't seen many Hustlers with the Sunshade edition on the roof either, but I actually think it looks pretty clean on this build and reminds me a lot of the sunshades that you'd see on a lot of hot rod builds. The only thing that I'm not a fan of is the chrome mesh grille, and normally I like mesh grills on most newer cars, but I think in this case that the grille itself is a bit too modern for a car as old as the Hustler, and I think that maybe keeping the grille stock or doing the black mesh grille might look a little bit cleaner and more discreet. But other than that though, I really like the direction of this build, and I haven't seen a Hustler in a very long time, so I definitely do approve of this one. Thank you for the submission, man. Alright, next up we have Daniel's Annis LG Retro Custom, and he says that this is his second Benny's vehicle after his Comet Retro Custom, and this is his absolute favorite car in the game. He says he didn't build it for any specific purpose and he just loves driving it, and he opted to do more simple but aggressive exterior mods, and I can't blame him for that. The LG Retro is definitely one of the coolest cars in the game, and I absolutely love driving mine as well, and I'm glad he puts this to good use because you could pretty much use the LG Retro for anything from drag racing to racing in general. It's got a lot of grip and it performs amazingly well for what it is, and I love this build because it's simple, and like the other builds that we've seen so far, a lot of them aren't built for a specific purpose but rather just to be driven, and I really respect that. And especially in GTA, if you're gonna pay a lot of money for a car, you might as well drive it, right? So I definitely like the direction Daniel took with his build. I think he nailed the clean street look with this one. The blue on black color scheme isn't too loud and definitely fits the car very well. I know he said that the blue he chose is more of an OEM style color on the R32 GTRs. I think that the Endo street wheels that he chose, which are inspired by the TE37s, also look awesome on this build. The only thing I might change is the front license plate, and in my opinion it looks a little funky because it's tilted downwards, which makes the numbers on the plate hard to see, and also it kind of obscures the intercooler, so I think it might be worth maybe taking the plate off entirely or offsetting it to one side of the bumper. But other than that though, I have really no complaints about this build, and thank you for the submission, man. Alright, next up we have FO's and his LG Retro Custom. Now he says that this is a 326 power inspired build with a rose gold paint job and pure white spindle wheels. And after seeing this submission come in, I fell in love instantly, and I haven't actually seen that many LG Retro builds with all of the 326 power inspired mods, and I'm definitely a sucker for the low style or kind of hot boy look. Any Japanese car that rocks like a 326 power, a BN Sports, a Vertex, or an Origin Lab body kit, I'm automatically a fan of, which is really why I love this build. Now the rose gold color is actually a pretty unique choice for this one. I think it fits the build pretty well. I personally wouldn't have gone with this color. I might have gone with a slightly brighter color, but that's just me. And I also like that he chose to do the spindle wheels. Normally I don't think that they fit on every car, but in this case I think they fit the hot boy look pretty good with the chrome on the white. And overall I'm a huge fan of this build. I freaking love it, and the pictures that he provided are awesome too, so thank you FO for the submission, man. Alright, last but not least we have Elon Musk's Dewbauchee Specter Custom, and he said that for this build he gave his car car an ice white paint job and a thick, with 3 C's, wide body kit. Now his description of the car is pretty straightforward, and so is the build itself. It's simple and clean, and it gets the job done. Now I love the white primary color with the bronze wheels. I think it has a great combination of the street and stancy look, and man, these street wheels do look pretty much great on any build that you decide to put them on. Now specific to Elon's car, I really like the white and black accents that are all over the car, but I'd personally prefer the side skirts and the lip to be one color only. If that is an option in Benny's, then that's what I'd do. I don't know if that's the case because I actually don't own one of these cars, but other than that, that's a very minor thing in comparison to everything else that he's done for this build. It's also pretty easy to go overboard with the Specter because of all of its visual customizations in Benny's, but I definitely like that Elon's build isn't too crazy, and it complements the original look of the Specter pretty well without compromising any of its great body lines. So overall, I think this is a really cool build. I definitely need to get my hands on a Specter custom as well, so thank you for the inspiration, man, and of course thank you for the submission too. Alright guys, so that was all of the submissions that we got for this video, and I have 10 more submissions already ready to go for the third video, which I hope to get out sometime soon. So with that being said, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Keep in mind again that you can go hop in the Discord server and make your submissions there. Other than that though, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.